Hello, my friends, and a very warm welcome to Reasoned Live with me, Darren Grimes. I thank you very much for your company. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, the little notification bell, and consider supporting Reasoned in any way that you can, because everything helps. And it won't be long after this meme that I've created today. It won't be long, my friends, before Sakir Starmer has me in chains and in the slammer. I'm surprised they're not at the door already. Must be a, I don't know, transphobic incident that they've got to deal with. Maybe someone called a bloke. Anyway, we need to talk about this pub incident because it matters, right? Green King being one of the most popular pub chains in the country, in my opinion. It's not a Wetherspoons, but you know, we make do with what we've got. And it has form for changing the names of pubs when there's controversy around the names of them. Despite the fact that these names go back hundreds and hundreds of years, the pub tradition in Britain is a rich one. It's a rich tapestry, a rich seam of culture. And it's torn apart because someone in modern day Britain gets offended. So I'm worried about this. And here's why it matters, right? We've got to think about everything, the ramifications of this, when someone who is a convicted terror convict in this country is able to potentially change a pub's name because he says it makes him feel unsafe. Well, I don't know about you, but I happen to believe a terrorist being in Britain makes me feel unsafe. How about that? The Ginger Jihadi. Anyway, I'll talk more about the Ginger Jihadi in just a second. So this the Saracen, the Saracen's Head, this pub here, a convicted terrorist, he's suing the pub landlord over a sign which he alleges is racist and deeply offensive. Now, this case, to me, isn't just about a sign, right? You might think, oh, Darren, come on, someone getting their knickers in a twist. It's not offensive at all. Like, let's just get over it. It's just a pub name. No, because it never stops at a pub, does it? It never ends at a pub. And that's why we need to actually talk about it. So this fella, Khalid Baqa, it's a story that sums up really Britain's soft touch nonsense perfectly. Because this pub landlord being sued is probably worried for his livelihood by this convicted terrorist because the sign outside his boozer has offended him. The Saracen's Head, it'll have stood there long before there were these, groups of Islam supporters that can come over and complain about absolutely everything. It's a picture of a bloke with a turban, as you can see on your screen there, and a beard. It's a nod to history. But Khalid Baqa, this guy who was convicted of a terror charge, he says that the image incites violence and has left him shaken in his, what I assume are sandals. And Khalid Baqa, I found an article about his history and what he was convicted for. So he was a council worker. And believe me, even in the Metropolitan Police, the number of people who are supportive to Islamists, it's there. It's real. They are the enemy within. A council worker from East London admitted storing 300 computer disks of terrorist material in his car and home. He worked as a revenue officer for Hackney Council and had one of the disks in his office computer. He was of Priory Road in Bargain, and he had a further 7 offences for having material likely to be useful in terrorism and actually were ordered to lie on file. He was remanded in custody for sentencing, and the court heard that there were 2 discs, included Al-Qaeda's Inspire magazine, 39 ways to support and participate in jihad, and 42 ways to support jihad. The charges related to a period between April and July 2012, when Baqa was arrested with a number of other suspects in the lead up to the London Olympics. So that pivotal moment, you'll remember the London Olympics well, this was part of a wider plot. An Andrew Hall KC defendant said Baqa was storing the material for someone else, but was reckless as to whether it would then be distributed. Oh, pull the other one. I need a pint after hearing that excuse. I'll go to the Saracen's Head myself, right now. Get myself a pint. It's absolutely bizarre. So, you might ask, oh, some lad from Hackney, maybe he's just got a sensitive streak there, has he? This fella spent 4 years behind bars for spreading this jihadi propaganda and radicalising teenagers. And this man, who whipped up fear and violence with extremist leaflets and these other bits of material on these discs, actually is now saying that he's the victim because of a centuries-old pub sign. You can't make it up. Modern Britain personified. And the Saracen's Head, right, which you can see on your screens in just a moment. So that's what it's all about, right? It's about the Crusaders. So people like Khalid, who seem to have slept through history class and gone straight into offended 101, the term Saracen comes from the medieval Crusades, right? Those campaigners of European knights who ventured east to reclaim Jerusalem. And back then, Saracen was just the word Christians used to describe Muslims from the Middle East and North Africa. It wasn't some kind of slur. It wasn't about saying that someone's had the heat chopped off or whatever else. It was the language of the time. And the head, the imagery of the head, in those days, taverns as a pub obviously had signs, pictures, not words, because folk couldn't read. Right? So you had to sell your pub with an image, a really good depiction. And the Saracen's Head was a symbol of far-off lands, of adventure, of tales of Richard the Lionheart, Saladin. It's part of British history. It's like the King's Arms or the Crusaders' Inn. It's not inciting anything except maybe a thirst for a pint, which the more I talk about one, the more I want one. And what I see from the likes of Green King, and what I hope I don't see again, because we've seen it before, is actually the fact that there is cultural capitulation. Khalid strolls in, presumably short of a hobby or two, spotting the sign and deciding he's going to make an easy buck. He demands 1,850 quid in compensation, and I say enough. I imagine for his next funding round, he's going to make a complaint about a quiet weekend, plotting with which pub to target next. Fair few of them. Reports suggest that if he wins the case, he'll be trying it on with 30 other pubs that share the name. 30 other pubs. Making a career out of being offended and using political correctness as a tool to make money. As a former terror convict. Are you taking the piss? Let's not pretend this is a one-off, though. The Green King has a history of this. So the pub there, look, on your screens now, the Midget. The Midget opened in 1974, but was rebranded the Roaring Raindrop because actually a petition by disability rights lecturer at Liverpool who branded the original name offensive. What about Midget Gems? Do they still sell those, folks? Let us know in the comments because, they'll be in for the chop. The Watering Hole was named after the classic MG car. I mean, the Black Bitch, that obviously a dog, that was renamed. Labour in Vain, apparently that one there because it's got the black baby. The Sly Old Fox was attacked by vegans. By bloody vegans. Ye Old Fighting Cocks. What's wrong with a fighting cock? The Bewdley Inn. I don't know why the Bewdley Inn was renamed. Because it was the Black Boy Inn, and it was renamed because of the Black Lives Matter movement. But the pub's owners disputed this, saying it was part of a company rebrand. Yeah, right, it's a total capitulation. We're not stupid. They changed it. It was named after Charles II's childhood nickname, right? Not some modern offence fantasy. but they renamed it because of the Black Lives Matter movement. They even renamed the magic, as I said earlier, because of the and going back to the midget and all these other things. Why does this all matter, though, right? Ask yourself that. It's because we've created a culture where claiming offence is a full-time job. It doesn't matter how ridiculous your claim is, which they clearly are, going back to Charles II. Britain wasn't this vast multicultural hellhole with loads of black people walking the streets that we were actively trying to offend. It was named after Charles II. It goes back to this is our history and tradition being torn down in the name of political correctness and offence-seeking archaeology. As I say, we've created a culture where claiming offence is a full-time job now. It doesn't matter how ridiculous your statement, school teachers showing a picture in class. Well, you're still in hiding, mate. The Batley Grammar School teacher. The system bends. Not on your side. People cave in out of fear. Fear of being called racist, fear of legal bills, or let's be honest, fear of extremists like Khalid, who know a thing or two about perpetrating actual fear in a country. And we get told, oh, we're in an intolerant country. This is racism that's ingrained within the British psyche. Oh, bugger off. It doesn't mean wiping away our history to be tolerant of people. Wiping away our history, maybe we've been a little bit too tolerant in doing this. Our humour, our traditions, all gone. If a pub sign from 500 flipping years ago sends you into a meltdown, I think maybe Britain isn't the country for you. There are 22 Arab countries in the world. You're more than welcome to go and spread your shower of shite in one of them. Go on. Get yourself over there, try it, and let's see how your hurt feelings compensation claims goes down in, say, Riyadh in Saudi. Spoiler alert, mate, you won't get a payout, but you might get a very different kind of welcome. But, my friends, here's the absolute kicker for yous. I decided to have my own rebrand of the pub. I thought I'll help him out. I'll help out the Saracen's Head. So, I've renamed it for him. I've renamed it from the Saracen's Head Inn to the Ginger Jihadi. And look, I've got a picture of him with a pint there because, of course, he's been slightly haram in that picture because, he's having a pint. Half a pint, I think it is. But there we are. I've renamed it the Ginger Jihadi after him. And I actually find that highly amusing. It's accurate, it's cheeky, and let's be honest, it's probably still too generous. And if that offends you too, Khalid, I suggest you get over it. Or failing that, try not walking past pubs. Try getting yourself in one. Or better yet, don't walk past them at all. It's probably easier than suing them. Well, anyway, look, I mean, that big bushy ginger beard. I didn't realise Ronald Sodden MacDonald had joined Islam, converted to Islam and gone on a crusade himself of offence archaeology. Absolute clown. There we are, the Ginger Jihadi. Would you have a pint in the Ginger Jihadi? Honestly, joking aside though, folks, this isn't about the sign, right? This is about intimidation. It's about radicals, whether they're religious extremists or woke busybodies, thinking that they can rewrite Britain to suit an agenda. And I say, not on my watch. We'll ridicule you, we'll laugh at you, and we'll push back. Because if we can let a convicted terrorist decide what signs we can hang outside our pubs, we might as well admit that the country's gone. But I don't think most of us are having that, are we? I don't think you are. So to the pub landlord there, pictured in the middle of that image that you'll see at the top there. So to him, I say this. Actually, do you know what? Not to him, because to be fair to him, the Green King, big, massive, overreaching British pubs, one of the biggest pub trade associations in the country. So to Green King, I would say grow a backbone. And to Khalid Baqa, the Ginger Jihadi, if you're scared of a bit of painted wood, I suggest you steer clear of the pub, and while you're at it, Steer clear of us. We're done bending the knee to people like you. Done. Right, let's see what some of the comments you have got coming in. Nick says, I'd love to have a pint with you and discuss the end of civilization. Well, listen, this is why I'm so keen that we protect our pubs. So keen, because we've got to have these holes to drink in, watering holes to drink in order to actually get through the madness that envelops this country. Steve C says, I'm suing the Bell End pub. Well, Steve, you don't strike me as a bell end, you strike me as a very reasonable fella. Al McD said, was it called the Alu Akbar? Daniel says, Green King's Christmas advert is full of ethnic minorities. White people are the minority in it. And it'll be white people that obviously frequent their pubs in overwhelming numbers. It's absolutely extraordinary. Ashley says, the Darren Arms. Oh, do you not like the Ginger Jihadi? You wouldn't have a pint or two in the Ginger Jihadi? I think I would do it with gusto because I find it absolutely hilarious. The lodger says he hasn't been anywhere near it. They've checked the CCTV. This convicted terrorist is doing this online as a money-making scam. And if the Green King acquiesced to this, I'm not drinking in a Green King ever again. I do actually mean that. What else have you got? Carlos says, I gave up booze. I need to drink because of Starmer. Honestly, Carlos, I don't think I could give up drink at the minute. I think it's the only thing keeping us sane. Oh, Michael, my good friend, he approves of my meme. It's done quite well on X, actually. I thought, oh, am I wasting my time here, Eden and Ginger Jihadi? But actually, it's worked out all right. We need a laugh at this moment. We need a laugh. I mean, he'll probably try and bloody sue me now. The Rozzers will be at me door like you wouldn't believe. Well, Susan has a good point. She says, can we go to Dubai and start complaining? I know. Imagine if I went over to Saudi and said, I've got me nigger's in a twist over one of your signs. They would probably put us in prison. Cheeseface says the solicitors are also to blame for using our own education against us. Listen, I think actually what's going on here is that there is now so much case law that's established with offence archaeology and all these other things, suing people all too often. We need a radical change of the ease at which you can actually take offence through the court system. There is so much judicial activism evident throughout our courts. And I'm going to do another video actually on judicial activism because there's a judge who's caught my eye, an activist judge. You might know the one if you have frequented this channel once or twice, but I'll talk about him soon. Elizabeth says, no, it's so important not to placate these idiots. It's our culture, our past and our land. For goodness sake, please let us return to respect for our British values. Elizabeth, you are a woman after my own heart. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. Lammy says, the Black Boy is one of my locals. We still call it the Black Boy. There is a Black Boy in Solihull, and that's under pressure to change its name. Honestly, it makes you just want to cry. Michelle says, hello, sweetheart. Love the new pub sign. Yep, see, I'm on to a winner here. Green King, if you're watching, I'll accept me check in the post. and you can pop that up whenever you want. I'll give you it copyright free. Your comments, yes, are making me laugh. Right, I'm going to go through the comments. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to do another video in a second on that activist judge, and I'll see you in that one. And remember, subscribe, support, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next one. I'll see you shortly, very shortly.